that one was certainly an effort. Popped off the hook right on the shoreline, almost lost it. Whoa. Clearly I can't hold fish too well, but there certainly is an abundance of these nice little beauties out there right behind me. Welcome to another outdoor adventure. It's winter and today it's surf fishing. Not the warmest of days, but nevertheless, this is exactly what I came here for. What an absolutely magnificent morning. I left home in the dark, high tide here at 9 o'clock this morning. So I wanted to get here a few hours before the high tide. Got my burley set up, and while I was getting ready, obviously the fish have been attracted to the gutter that I'm fishing. Burley is certainly the key to success, but while the fishing's hot, I'm going to get back into it. I hope you enjoy. If you do, please hit the subscribe button and have a look at the other videos on my YouTube channel. Anyway, enough talking from me. It's time to get catching while it's still hot. So one of the most important things to do when you get to a surf beach is obviously find a gutter, because a gutter is exactly where the fish are going to be holding. So even on a day like today where it's quite windy, a gutter is still quite easily to spot. You can actually see just behind me here the waves are breaking, and each side of where those waves are breaking, that's obviously the gutter, also known as the rip if you're a surfer. But as we follow it along, we can actually see just along here there's actually a gutter inshore. Now, I was fishing just down here, and then you can see that greeny coloured water, that gutter, and it comes along here and it runs right along the front of the shore break. So I was casting in just over here, and that, because of the side wash, that burley was just washing just in along in that gutter that is horizontal with the beach. Now, if we keep panning around, you can see a lot more gutters. There's a great one here, a bit further along, which actually comes right out and actually exits right out into the ocean there. That is an absolute cracker, but of course when I got here it was dark, so I didn't see it. However, this is a gutter that I mainly fish at this beach, and it's always produced the goods. You certainly can't fault that at all. How's that mustard bait holder hook just doing the damage? So while my burley's been working, as soon as I started fishing, I actually started working this side here. I watched the burley, it sort of washed around a little bit, and I saw some going over this side and some going off into this gutter here. So I started working here for a few casts and then let my sinker, we've got a bit of a side wash here, and I'm using a 6-ounce star sinker. I've got a fairly light rod, it's only a 20-pound rod, but that sinker is just slowly working with that side wash, so I actually know where my burley's going. And so far all the fish I've caught have been over here in this gutter. So I'm just letting that sink and those baits just bop along, and as soon as I get into this position, bang, there's a fish there. Anyway, let's follow that trend. So just a very quick rundown on the burley that I'm using. I've actually got chook pellets soaked in tuna oil and a block of pilchards, and I've mashed all that up, and it's just a fine mush of pellets. I put them in that onion bag and I just leave that just to wash around in the shore, and it does a fantastic job. Burley is the key to success on the surf. This is a massive beach. Goes for about 10 kilometres. 1 or 2 bits of blue bait are not going to cut it. But throw a bit of burley in, you'll bring those fish right to this area and catch some fish. Oh, how good's that? The sun's just coming up over the top of the sand dunes now. That sinker doing its job. That 6-ounce star sinker just bopping along the bottom in the same way that the burley's going, just nice and slow. And then of course finds its target where the school have fished up down there. What a great morning session. Well, that just about rounds out my session. I ran out of bait. I didn't think I'd go through 3 bags of blue bait, but nevertheless I did, and I caught plenty of fish, so I'm pretty happy with the result. Just before I leave, I'll run through the rig that I've been using. Standard paternoster rig. I have 20-pound leader. My first dropper with a size 2.0 mustard red bait holder hook holds the pilchard, the blue bait on really, really well. And then I've got a second dropper just near my sinker. In this case today I've got the same hook because I'm fishing 2 baits. Sometimes if it's a little bit calmer you might have the case of sand crabs, so you might opt to change this bottom bait to a soft plastic or a surf popper or something like that, because otherwise the sand crabs will be stealing your bait. You don't want that. So a real simple rig to use. I have 20-pound braid, and that braid has been detrimental in feeling the bites today because of how rough the surf is. I have a Wilson Blue Steel surf rod. This is only 10 foot in length, 8 to 20 pound, and a little 5,000 size reel. As you would have noticed while I was fishing, I was constantly holding the rod. Reason being, it's rough. You put a rod in that surf holder, that rod is continually got the motion of the waves bashing against it. That's not what you need. You'll hardly even see a bite. The braid is going to give you the indication of any bite that's in the surf, and holding the rod in your hand the whole time, following the sinker as it's bumping along the bottom, you'll see and feel every single bite. So, a few little tips there. It's winter, get down to the surf, catch some salmon, it's a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this little episode. I'll see you next time on another outdoor adventure.